What's up, everyone? This is Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw, and back again with Magnus. And in case you can't tell by the shirts, we're going to be doing a little bit of Dragon Ball Z here and there. And first off, Magnus is going to take it away. He's going to be talking about some of the lesser aliens, and maybe it's just the Saiyan in me, but I always thought these guys were more of the characters to be blown up. But
Well, they're kind of fodder because the Saiyans, their business was kind of just wiping out creatures and then selling it until Frieza
yeah, that was
took
great.
him over because Frieza was doing that anyways, and it's just like so he just got them to do it more. I guess just gave them more aim to do it, but. Power levels are kind of hot topic. At times they're very controversial, but but there seems to be like an overarching thing where a lot of species and the races in Dragon Ball and they're
Weak.
yes, they depend a lot on science. That seems to be intuitive for a lot of species, and that for the most part you could probably consider their power level like between 5 and 10. Like they show the farmer with the shotgun.
Yeah, yeah.
His was 5, and his was just some guy. He wasn't very athletic. He was kind of rotund. But you could kind of consider it like that insect race that Vegeta and Nappa ended up killing. Like theirs was probably that. Beerus, there was those dinosaur people that were in effectively medieval times, and that their power level was
Well,
probably
the
the same.
insect creatures Vegeta ended up eating.
Yeah.
Saiyan's got to eat.
That's right. And so that's like the majority species. So when you have beings with higher power levels, if their tech isn't good enough, they can't take them on. And so what you kind of run across is a lot of Frieza's forces, which is they're soldiers, they are trained, but they're not the most powerful ones. And
Well, a lot of them died off too during the Battle of Namek.
sure.
But okay, I think I know what you're talking about now. Let me see. Okay, you
Okay.
remember Battle of the Gods?
Mhm.
Or I know the one before it where Frieza showed up, Golden Frieza. What was
Mhm.
that called?
Yeah, Golden Frieza.
That was called Golden Frieza.
Yep, you're right.
Okay, good. I thought it was cool where Master Roshi got some time in because a lot of these guys were like the power levels you were talking about, like
Mhm.
hundreds, 60s, 50s, like right around there.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool that every little individual got their time to shine.
Sure.
So I'm a big Master Roshi fan.
Yeah, they kind of
I had to throw that in. Since we're talking about lower power levels, and I feel Master Roshi doesn't get enough love.
yeah.
Or Hercule, Mr.
Well,
Singh.
they were kind of trying to throw power levels out because it
Yeah.
becomes problematic writing wise for stories, and I'll actually get more to that, especially when we're getting into Frieza early on. Because like if you do dump Master Roshi in with all these other characters, it's just like he'll just get like smacked around. And he did train.
But later on, even later on when they were talking about this other series in Super,
Mhm.
Roshi actually proves himself to be a very cunning warrior.
Yeah.
Experience actually sometimes does win the day.
Yeah.
Take Batman, for example.
Mhm.
Batman the Animated Series, the famous scene where Superman touches him, and Superman's not expecting him. Batman just flips him over a table.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't take out the cunning aspect or the art of surprise.
Yeah. And so
Or that demon move that he does.
yeah, where with the Mufuba?
Yeah.
Yeah, get them into. Well, it doesn't even have to be a little jar, which he tends to use because
Like
I think
Schultzaker, can it be, or something like
yeah,
that?
like when he was training Goku to actually use it, that was using Turtle as to get it in there.
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
I think it was like it was either a coffee maker or steam, a rice steamer.
Yeah, it was a rice steamer.
It was a rice
it was
steamer.
a pressure rice for cooker for rice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. I love this show. Just telling you guys up front, seen them all, even
Yeah.
GT.
and I'll actually get back more to that, anyways. But
yeah.
going back to the Frieza's soldiers. A lot of their power levels was around 1,000, which was around Raditz power level, but then also the Cybermen. Vegeta
Yeah.
was and Nappa were able to grow, and that's kind of the joke where it's just like these soldiers
He's
are pretty
Podman.
much just as powerful as these creatures that can be grown.
Well, let's be honest, Yamcha is pathetic.
Yeah, and that's just part of Kira Toriyama's writing style, and then pressure from editors. That's a whole nother
And I
subject.
never
on
liked
its own.
Yamcha. I'm gonna throw it out there. I never even liked him since Dragon Ball.
Okay, yeah.
I never liked Yamcha. I was glad Vegeta just swept it and took Bulma.
Happens. But anyways, and then you start running into like Frieza's elites, which is they were the ones like guarding Frieza's ship on Namek, and their power level is around 2,000. So
Ginyu's was a little higher.
yeah, and so when you're dealing with the 1,000 level guys, where they are actually a lot more powerful than the vast majority of species in the whole universe, and then you got these level 2,000 guys, that's insane.
Well, we have another interesting situation since you bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
When Ginyu switched bodies, spoilers, there's always spoilers on my show.
Sure.
I keep saying this. If you watch my show, there's going to be constant spoilers. I get tired of saying it. Say it once. When Ginyu switches bodies with Goku, it's odd that he can't tap into the full power. But what about, because I know what you're going to say, but what about Goku Rose? The evil version of Goku.
Yeah, and a lot of that seems to be understanding of how chi works. Because
Ginyu had a pretty good idea, though. He was pretty powerful.
yeah,
He wasn't a slouch. Well, compared to what was,
yeah,
before the standard was ubered by Super Saiyan.
yeah, exactly. So like with Jace and Birder, they were confused on Goku. When they used the Scouter, he seems to be weak, but then when they attack him, he's super powerful. And it's Ginyu that explains to him he's hiding his power level, and that was something that they were unaware of.
Too.
Yeah, and even something such as Raditz when fighting Goku and Piccolo, that he seemed to be unaware of channeling energy into one spot to make it powerful, because he's like, how is their attack so powerful? They're so much weaker than me, but they're actually giving me trouble if I don't pay attention. And there is a show of lack of training and understanding. Like a lot of the 1,000 level, even some of the 2,000 level soldiers, they have to use those arm guns to use their
That's
chi.
my argument about Roshi. He may not be powerful, but he's crafty. Mm-hmm. He knows how to gather energy. He knows how to bide his time.
Yeah. And
sometimes the bigger man doesn't win. Tien, for example,
sure,
like in the freezer thing, I loved how he did his standoff. You know what I mean?
With Cell?
No, like when all the aliens were attacking, like when Freezer came back to life.
Okay.
When he was doing the golden freezer thing.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And Tien was just triangle move. He was showing his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it was skill over experience, and I like he even lasted longer than Krillin.
Yeah.
In some ways, and Krillin is arguably more powerful than him.
Yeah. Well, Tien also sort of had them follow him. The Frieza soldiers follow him, so then he could just shoot them their line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And so yeah, Frieza's soldiers are not properly trained. They just try muscling their way through. And I guess we could talk about the Saiyans themselves. That's kind of why they were desirable as a race to conquer planets, because their habit of fighting so much, their power levels could be assumed to be around 800 to 1,200. If you have like species,
maybe say like King Vegeta, maybe about $2,000.
King Vegeta was probably more.
Maybe I'd say about 3 Gs.
Yeah, because you got to remember, young Vegeta was taking on Cybermen as what?
Well, yeah, but that's why Freezer took him, because he had that potential.
Yeah,
even more.
Well, he also so happened to be away. I don't know if that was planned by Frieza, but yeah, Vegeta was away during that time.
Also a hostage. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also a hostage by Freezer. Freezer took him under his wing, and Freezer actually just kept him alive.
Yeah.
He was better. He was still useful.
Yeah, and so going back to power levels, different species. So we got the level 2,000 elites, which are actually pretty insanely powerful. When the Z Fighters first fought Nappa and Piccolo, theirs was between 800 with like Gohan, and I think up to 1,400 with Piccolo. I think Tien was even like 1,300. So they weren't actually powerful then, but like Frieza's elites were 2,000s. And then the Dragon Clan Namekians, their power levels were around 3,000 to 4,000.
Some of
them. They were actually insanely powerful.
It didn't seem that way when they were being slaughtered wholesale.
Well, they were well, the ones that went to defend one of the villages, they were killed by Dodoria, who was very, very powerful.
Yeah, he's a big, kind of purplish fat guy for all you guys out
With
there that play the
with
video
a
game.
spiky head.
Yeah,
And not like hair, it was like little spikes.
like little nubs.
Yeah. And so when you get to something like Nappa, like his power level was considered around 5,000. Like there were not a lot of beings that actually topped him. That's why he was such a dangerous elite character. And so when you actually had them going against the Z fighters, they had so much trouble.
Yeah, that was an enjoyable fight, I must admit.
Yeah.
I loved it when Chatsu blew himself up and it didn't do anything.
I mean, it damaged the back of his armor, I think.
Yeah, forgive a cruel laugh.
And I think then Tian Shinhan did a Kiko Ho with one hand.
Yeah.
Because did Nappa punch his arm off? I don't think he ripped it off. I think he like hit it off.
Yeah, he just basically swatted it away.
Yeah.
But Nappa was just that powerful, dude. He was a beast.
Yeah. And so, and then, you just start going further up the scale. And that's when you get to individuals.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting how just most species lean towards tech. And not even magic. You think like there'd be species or
That's
two
why
where
I
they
wish
do
I could
magic.
remember the name and GT of that race I was telling you about, the ones that Saiyans conquered. I wish I could just remember the alien name of the race that you brought
Is it
me.
the, what was it, the Tuffles?
Yeah, the Tuffles. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
They had no power levels whatsoever, but they understood technology and they
Mhm.
developed Baby, in which people complain and say that it sucked, but I thought it was an interesting twist. These people were using technology.
Yeah.
They weren't energy based. They were basically everything that you're saying.
Mhm.
Their technology saved them. They bred that creature to take over and attack. And it was an interesting storyline. Granted, it could have been done a lot better.
Yeah.
But it was better than just, I am just a super powerful being.
Yeah.
I was created out of nowhere, and I'll absorb this guy, or I'll just be powerful. And
Yeah.
it was nice that it was kind of a gradual takeover.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
People shit on GT a lot, but the Neo Shinron thing,
Mhm.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
The Evil Dragon Ball. I just thought I'd give my 2 cents on that. But these Tuffles, made sense.
Yeah. Well, that's because
I thought it was a natural.
depends where you get your sources from, but more often than not, on the planet Vegeta, which may or may not have been the planet Plant, that was originally the Tuffles planet.
Yeah.
And
no, it was.
Yeah, and that the Saiyans come
Even
from planet
even Dragon Ball Z, they explain that.
Yeah, Salon, whatever the original planet of the Saiyans. So yeah, for one reason or another,
they destroyed the
migrated. I remember a long time ago I heard a disease, but that's not the case.
I think they destroyed their planet. They used up all the resources.
That wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah.
And that it was not their ship. There was a...
Oh yeah, because they're not space. That was their weakness. They weren't really spacefaring.
Yeah, they weren't
people.
technologically advanced.
Yeah.
And even though they seem to actually be quite adept at using technology, that doesn't seem to be a problem.
Eventually,
Yeah.
yes, eventually.
So, well, they just seem to be natural, quick learners. Like
Yeah.
they could see, they learn by seeing.
Yeah. Well,
They're very observant.
That's a tribute to their fighting skill too.
Yeah. And but yeah, I believe Vegeta's palace, King Vegeta's palace, was the spacecraft that landed on planet Plant. And some people theorize that ship was a truffle colony ship. And that's why when the Saiyans were trying to figure it out, that it went back home.
Actually, I believe that.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
And then there's also theories where it was King Cold or predecessor's ship, and that the not necessarily King Cold's ship that he was on, but like soldier's ship.
It really
going around
depends
to
on what
conquer
canon you
and-
read. And like,
Well, it's never been specified. Like people even speculate it was a Namekian ship, which it doesn't look Namekian in design.
best bet, dude. That's why I like GT. It always made sense that it was another race.
Mhm.
That's why I like about the truffle. That's why I like how these low level people, they got into a fight with the Saiyans. They realized they couldn't win.
Yeah.
They used the technology to overcome in another way.
Well, look at Dr. Gero. by
Ooh.
studying, the fight with the Saiyans, uh, that was able to make himself an android 20.
Yeah.
Frankly, more powerful than Frieza just right off the bat, and then was able to make
17 and 18.
17 and
But
18.
they were human too.
Yeah,
No, they were cyborgs more.
yeah.
Yeah. More.
And the reason
Well,
they
they're still
didn't
called androids, but
they couldn't call them cyborgs because the Japanese name for cyborg is Cybermen, and they already used that name.
Yeah.
Which the Cybermen should not actually have been called Cybermen. Like, well, oh well.
Dragon Ball Z, y'all. What can you do?
Yeah, and so it shows that technology can go really far, and then it questions like how far can magic go? Like, now they haven't gone into the origins of Majin Buu, but it took Babidi, his magical prowess, to not resurrect as much as awaken Majin Buu, who was this powerful entity.
I think it was like a primal force. You know.
You know what I would really like is that a few of the universes has already been destroyed by what's the head god's name? The little blue guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember his name. Anyways,
I'm gonna call him the Blue Meanie.
yeah, that there's been certain universes that have been destroyed, deleted by him, and no explanation. It would be interesting if Majins are the opposites of angels, and that these are worlds, universes that were taken over by Majins.
Mm-hmm.
And like Majin Buu is somehow a remnant of that. Although none of the angels really react to him during the what was it, the match with Champa's forces.
Well, maybe he's just like an individual force.
Yeah.
You know, like
it could just be him.
Maybe he's the Matt Hardy of that universe. You know, I will delete you. You know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much why I want to talk about power levels. That there's this scale that most beings are in, and then you get the main characters that just go so much higher.
Yeah. There's always a lower scale. We can always talk about the upper scale too, but it's kind of nice that we did cover this, and sometimes how technology actually wins the day. And I know like people like want to dismiss GT, but it did have its fine points, and it did bring up mysticism. And I kind of like how.
Yeah.
And I keep bringing up Master Roshi, but Master Roshi's demon attack that he uses later on in Super is magic.
Yeah.
Since you brought that up. So Master Roshi is kind of a mix between fighting technique, energy, and magic.
Yeah.
And I think those three cards kind of helped him over time, become more useful.
Yeah.
He's still a very valuable fighter.
Yeah, he knows Korin, who grows magic beans. There's
that little witch. That's actually his sister.
Yeah, Yambaba?
Yeah, that's
right?
actually his sister. Yeah, well, at least in the role-playing books.
It's his sister, and she's a magical witch, who is aware of the Zen-sama. Oh no, I'm so close to remember the name. Anyways, but like I think at one point Goku tried giving her the button to call him. It's like, oh, here's this. I'll trade you for this. And she's like, I don't want that. You're crazy. So like, this being knows so much, or at least knows an inclinage of it.
That's why I think the Supreme Kais too are more mystic. They're not as powerful either, if you noticed.
Yeah. Well, especially.
Well, certain Kais, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the problem with Universe 7, Goku's universe, because first off, there were multiple Supreme Kais, and that Shin, the current Supreme Kai,
yeah, was like the youngest.
Yeah, he was the youngest out of the 3, 4, because
4.
Boo ended up eating them.
Yeah, the Grand Master was the last one he ate, and his goodness.
Yeah, there was a buff one, which I think was the first one he ate. There was a girl,
which was his chick,
and then there was a fat one. So
yeah, the Grand Master.
So there were 4 of them, including Shin. And it seems that Shin should have been trained by the other 3, because the point of the Supreme Kais is actually to create stuff, while the god of destruction is supposed to destroy, but a good god of destruction will actually weigh, why should I destroy this? Should I destroy it? Which for Beerus, it's if they make good food or not.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. He has honor. I love Beerus.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite out of the new characters.
Well, yeah. Well, it's very short sighted because it's like, hey, you guys suck at making food. Get good. I will be back in 200
that's why
years.
Every destroyer has a wheeze. Yes, you talk about that, or an angel. You kind of watch over them.
Yeah.
They don't get too out of hand.
Yeah, but still, he is kind of out of hand. He destroyed that dinosaur people planet. He cracked it in half with his finger like that.
That's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, but that's why when Zeno-sama is that the god's name? The blue meanie.
Sure.
Anyways, when he was first comparing all the universes, Universe 7 and 6, I believe Shampa's Universe is 6, that it gave him not a power level, but a life level.
Ah.
And 6 and 7 had a very low life level.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people die.
Yeah, but especially Universe 7, it's a lot of Frieza's fault, who effectively took on the job of God of Destruction. People have been speculating, Frieza could be a future God of Destruction.
Well, that's what they thought, him or Boo.
Yeah. People have also stated Vegeta would be a good one, like an authentically good one, that he would weigh options. It's like, yeah, you guys need to die because...
Well, if you watch the cartoon, Beerus kind of hinted that it might be Goku, too.
Yeah. Although Goku, he probably ended up wouldn't do it. But,
yeah, he's a moron.
I mean, well, like, if I was a God of Destruction, I saw the Saiyans, I'm like, these are jerks. You're all dead.
Well, that's why he authorized Frieza to do it. I mean, if you watch the show...
Yeah, specifically told Frieza to do it, which I don't... That was like Chekhov's gun? Like, it seemed like at one point that was going to be revealed and that Vegeta should react some way to it. I'd love it if Vegeta reacted...
What choice does Vegeta have?
Well, I would love it if Vegeta reacted to yeah, we kind of need killing. And technically, the Saiyans might still be around because planet Salad, the original homeworld, like, to my understanding, the world is still there. It could just be barren, but if there were a few Saiyans there, they might have learned, after all of them left, there might have been enough resources for the rest of them.
I don't know. I wouldn't get my hopes up on that.
I mean...
They seem like an all-or-nothing race.
Yeah.
They kind of remind me of Genghis Khan's people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Mongols.
Yeah, the Mongols. It was an all-or-nothing race. They took whatever they had with them.
Yeah.
And the other ones...
But they were good at that. Well, there were plenty that were agricultural, that they were farmers.
Yeah, but they were mainly known for traveling.
Yeah.
Plants. Well, I don't know. That's neither here or there.
Yeah. But, what was I going to say? What we were talking about right before then? You lost me at Genghis Khan. You started going into history and lost me from Dragon Ball Z.
Well, I was talking about how the Saiyans... you were talking about survivors. Survivors.
So it would be very interesting. This is just me going crazy with it. This is based off of nothing other than if it was, like, say, a disease. What if it was a disease that attacked a certain trait, like a gene trait, such as dark hair? It could explain why the dark hair Saiyans booked it, and the other ones could have stayed. Like, what if there were Saiyans with light blue hair, or red hair?
So, like, maybe brown hair or gray.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like yellow or naturally yellow.
Because, oddly enough, in the special of Bardock, which it's canon-ish. That one's a complicated one on how canon it is.
I know, like, it switches back and forth.
That it did show a female Saiyan with light blue hair.
Yeah, that could be.
And it'd be interesting if other Saiyans did go with them.
Well, maybe they wouldn't be as strong.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
And there did seem to be some sort of, I guess, divide between Saiyans that there were a few good Saiyans, such as Yamashiro. I cannot remember the
the guy who gives all his energy.
Yeah, but there were very evil Saiyans who can go into their Ozuru form at will.
The ape. So
Yeah, the great ape form. And so, like, there's just a very interesting divide with them.
yeah, it is fascinating, the good and evil.
Yeah. And it kind of seems like that Bulma needs to, like, do more. Like, she does a lot. She needs to do more. Like, why is she not having. They have space technology. Like, do they not have. Like, they could easily get a Saiyan space pod.
Well, actually,
I mean,
she has redundant. That's why she did that ship. She based the technology off of that.
yeah. And, like, why does she not send probes out and explore the universe? Like, she needs to catalog all the different races, all the different worlds. Like, she had a device that finds the Super Dragon Balls, but it's just like, oh, but you need
Well,
to write
we
part
never
of the
know
universe.
because like they cut a lot of that story out. A
Yeah.
lot of it's fighting. We never get to know what the women folk are actually doing.
Yeah.
And Capsule Corp is one of the richest well, actually the richest company in the world, so they might be doing that.
Yeah.
But that's another theory for another time.
Yeah.
Since we're currently talking about power levels, do you have anything to add on this current lower power level situation?
No, but I do have a funny thought, though.
Oh, what is it?
Imagine Vegeta training, Galen's way, goes out of the training facility, to maybe grab a water or lemonade, beer, whatever he's feeling like.
One with food. Yeah.
And maybe just like in a dining room area, there's Chi-Chi, Android 18, and Boma. I can imagine them easily just being friends, talking in the kitchen. Vegeta walk up, sees the three of them talking, and just walks backwards. It's just like,
Oh yeah, that'd be totally that scene in Star Wars and Force Awakens, where Kylo Ren's
and the stormtroopers just turn around.
Yeah, like I said, that comes to Vegeta being a cunning warrior,
Yes.
and that's cunning over strength, like we've been talking about,
Mhm.
which is always important.
Yeah.
But you have anything else to add on this show?
No, I just want.
All right, we're good. We're talking about lower power levels in DBZ. I'm the Comic Outlaw. This is Magnus, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Laters.